you may be going in a different direction than everybody else. I was always going against the grain. And the problem is that the people that I was around wasn't. So the noise got to me, you know what I mean? And opinions and thoughts, and I'm down myself.
That's the hardest part,
Right.
about leading a team.
Right.
It's not the decision making. It's the decision making and making people around you feel good about decision making.
Right.
That's the hard part. That's when you get that part.
Right.
That's when you know you made the sweet spot of like being a great leader and great at what your actual job is.
It's cool, man. I was cool with, starting with Drake Draft Day.
Oh, and you know what? Dang.
Yeah.
I should have pulled a lyric from that song.
Draft Day?
Yeah. I should definitely pull a lyric from that song. It don't really, I'm sure he got a lyric in that song that go with this whole conversation.
Hey, man, it is what it is. But speaking of Draft Day, bro.
Yeah.
Shedeur.
It is upon us. Listen, I will tell you right now, Shedeur, I'm going to tell you right now. Shedeur is Bo Callahan. like if people do not pick if NFL team does not pick Shedeur, like don't get me wrong, Travis Hunter's a better athlete.
Right.
I probably would pick Travis number one.
Yeah.
Right. But when it comes to quarterbacks, like there is no way that I'm gonna let Shedeur not go first.
You think he a Bo?
Huh?
You think he a Bo?
1000% he's Bo.
Bo was the villain in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, but when it all boiled down though, when it all boiled down to it, it was like you couldn't find anything on Bo. That's why
for sure. Yeah.
That's why I know you want him.
I like that movie can have like multiple angles.
Yeah, it can.
Yeah. So because we only got why Sonny didn't choose it. Choose him or what. We didn't get like all aspects.
Yeah.
Because he probably had a deeper story. I don't even think they know who we talking about. What we talking about? It's fresh on the mind, man. Yeah. We just got through watching what was it?
Draft Day.
Because all this draft day talk and yeah, man. He put me on it. And it was a good movie, bro. Like I really see what it's like. Well, I don't know how true that depiction is.
Yeah.
Like as far as the GM and all the pressures that he got to do.
Oh, I mean, he's probably more. Bro, you got like the GM, like he's over so much.
Yeah.
It's so crazy, like sidebar, I guess, but I wanted to, that's like my dream, not say job, but like my dream, like is owning my own franchise.
Right.
Did we talk about that before?
I think, well, no, not on the pod.
Not on the pod?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so like, that's like my dream is to own my own sports franchise, but it's because I want to be able to put teams together. So basically I want to be a GM.
Right.
Basically.
Right. Yeah.
And
I see you do that on, is that Madden you do that on?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Yeah, I play a lot of Madden with the franchise mode.
Does that connect with the NCAA or what? Not
so
NCAA.
It can.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
College football 25. I do play a lot of college football, but I like building teams and putting teams together.
Yeah.
So like anytime I can do something like that and like put that product out and be like, okay, let's see what it does.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you do sound like Sonny. Sonny, I'm sorry, Sonny. You sound like Sonny. He said, I just want this to be my team.
Yeah. All right, so let's jump into it, man.
Let's go ahead. Yeah.
Draft Day, the movie. I love it. There's a lot of mixed reviews on it.
Yeah.
About with this and that, but from a leadership perspective.
Yeah.
And like the things that you can really learn how to grow and be the best at your job while trying to do your job and make everybody else around you happy too.
Right.
It's a really, really good movie to be able to see a lot of that stuff on.
I like how he owned his job, bro. Like it was like his confidence. It's crazy because in some instance you can see the humanity, like he wasn't as confident, but then when he deal with like his employees or whatever, it like I'm doing my job.
Right.
If I trade you, I trade you. If I don't, I don't.
Right. Facts.
I love that
because that's like he told me I ain't got time to deal with your stuff right now.
Yeah.
Because that's the hardest part.
Right.
About leading a team.
Right.
It's not the decision making.
Yeah.
It's the decision making and making people around you feel good about decision making.
Right.
That's the hard part. That's when you get that part.
Right.
That's when you know you made the sweet spot of like being a great leader and great at, at what your actual job is.
Right.
Like when, so it's just that, and that's like, that's the part of the movie that I absolutely fell in love with, because he was able to balance that so, well, I can say well, but like it worked out. It worked out.
It definitely worked out.
Let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
All right. Let's start with the first, because we can go and go.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's an excitement, man. I'm excited about it. Go ahead, bro.
All right. So, and go watch the movie Draft Day if you haven't watched it already. So we're gonna break this down in leadership lessons. Okay. And then actually, you know what? No, don't go watch it. Watch our recap, right, and then go watch it for yourself and see what other things you can pull out from it, and then comment below. Love to see it.
Yeah, because we're gonna make you like it more.
Yeah, for 1,000%.
They need to give us a check, by the way. Go ahead.
Right. Should. So the first thing that just popped out to me.
Okay. Yeah.
And we've been potting on it we potted on it a few weeks ago. I guess about a month ago now.
Yeah.
What is that?
Begin with the end in mind.
Begin with the end in mind. Literally, bro is going about his day, whatever, looking at whatever, ESPN is on, or NFL Network, whatever is on.
Right.
And he's looking at it, and they're talking about this kid hey, this guy's the next, great. Like his dad was great.
Right.
If he falls to the Browns, it'd be great. Right.
Right.
And his coach that he didn't hire the coach, but his head coach that the owner really wanted and brought him in wants to draft this running back as well.
Right.
So, but he's like, he watches the little highlight tape on it, and then looks at his notepad, writes something down.
Right. Yeah.
We'll put in what we're going to say it.
Go ahead.
He writes down. He writes the vision. It makes it play.
Yeah. What name was it?
Vontae Mack.
Yeah, Vontae Mack.
Draft Vontae Mack. No matter what. No matter what happens, and this is before anything happened. This is the beginning of his day.
Right.
When he's just watching some draft the guy that you want to draft.
Right.
Forget all the noise.
You know what? I got chills because this movie is perfectly written.
Yeah,
because from a leadership.
Okay,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You can tell whoever wrote it is a leadership fanatic.
Yes, from a leadership perspective. Yes.
Yeah, because think about it. Like it wasn't even the first 5 minutes of the movie. He wrote it down. It tells you about the character. He's a girl in the shower. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he's watching news, and then it's like he had okay, let me write this down, and he wrote it down. He showed the note. They intentionally, I'm in production.
Yeah.
They put the camera on the note and he put it in his pocket.
Yeah.
That lets you know whatever that was he put in his pocket was important.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So he put that in his pocket and then he went on about his day.
Yep. And not knowing that, I don't know if it's the first thing that happened, but definitely one of the first major things that happened, and that kind of, took its life of his own, is meeting with the owner.
That's why I said it's perfectly written, because that was his first conflict. Well, that was his first major conflict.
Right.
Because if you listen, if you look and really pay attention, there's a lot of chatter going on the radio, on the news. Yep. If he don't pick this, he's out of here. Right. You know how it go. So he got all of this chatter that and you can tell, okay, let me write this down, and then he run into one of his major conflicts, which is his boss.
Yep.
Yeah.
So boss tells him, hey, I need you to make a splash. Like, I don't care what you got going on.
Right.
But I need you to we need, cause the owner, cause what's the owner's job? What's the owner's job?
Make money, right?
To make money.
Yeah.
Like it's a business for the owner.
Yeah.
It's nothing more. I mean, sometimes it's a passion, right? Like you have owners like Mark Cuban, that are very passionate about their team. But for majority of these owners, bro, I just want to make I invested billions of dollars in this operation. Like I need to be able to make billions back.
You said splash, create ticket sales.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the owner's perspective, is like, listen, you can draft this, this defensive player all you want. But you ain't gonna have no job next year.
Right. That's pretty much, or else.
Right. So like you need to make a splash. Like you need to get somebody legit. Right.
Right.
So that's the first, I don't know, leadership lesson or whatever. Like when your boss comes to you and tells you something, you got to figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
Like you have to like you have to figure out how to make it work.
Right.
Even though you're like self-trust, you kind of got that self-trust or whatever, but like you have to figure out
that's the honestly, man, that's the craziest part about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of conflicted because I'm like, well, okay, naturally you're going to do what your boss wants you to do, you know, but and like when you look at it logically, you're like, man, nah, don't just keep, you know, stay to your course, stay true to yourself. But realistically, you like when you got that type of pressure coming out on you, like, yo, either that or your job, you're going to try to find a way to make your boss happy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was a little conflicted about his next decision.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, why did he do that? Because I was like, remember I told like, bro, rewind that back. what did he just do?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I guess we could talk about that.
Yeah. So, and I think there was a call before. He didn't make the decision and pull the trigger on it until he talked with because he was like, okay, you know, like I can think about it. Like I don't, you know, it's whatever. I'm trying to figure it out because I want to make the best decision, best thing for my team. Yeah. Because you know, again, Bo Callahan, right? Yeah. Like everybody wants Bo Callahan because he's the best guy since sliced bread. Right. Right.
Right. The next quarterback.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the guy ends up he ends up calling the guy back. Mm-hmm. He's like, okay, I'll take your deal. You know, you offer me 2 first. I need to give you 2 first round picks and a 3rd round pick. You got it
for 3 years.
Right.
Right. Your first year, 2nd year, 3rd year, 1st round pick.
Well, yeah. So that's the deal he ends up making. Yeah. Is he has a first round picks.
I'm jumping ahead.
Next year and the year after that. Yeah. Right. That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's like crazy. That's like you getting a loan on your bro. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
So he walks in and he's telling everybody like, hey, we got the number 1 pick. Everybody's excited. Oh, we getting Bo Callahan.
What'd you give up?
Then you got this guy, and this guy represent. I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Like, he represents a lot of the people that different leaders have to face. That almost like an antagonist, because everybody got an antagonist in their organization. Yeah, somebody that no matter what you do, it's gonna be the wrong decision. Yeah, because it ain't what they want. Right, they want what they want, but my job is to do my job. Your job is to do your job. Right. Essentially, what we were trying to tell.
You could tell he was arrogant.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, bro, I can do your job. That's what you know what I mean. Like that's kind of what it kind of came off that way. Yeah, you know.
But it's because he felt that way. Like he literally said it was like I don't know how you do it. I don't know how y'all do it in Dallas. You know, but the GM does. Right. You know, puts the team together and you coach it. It was like, yeah, we do something different in Dallas. We win. Like so that kind of tells you then that like whatever you got going on, like it ain't what we, you know what I'm saying, ain't what I'm used to. It ain't it. Essentially, right? Like, so, anyway, the guy ends up, he ended up making this trade. Everybody's excited about it.
He made a trade for, so, just to be clear, the 3 years, first round pick, right?
Yes, three first round picks for this year, next year, and the year after. Yeah, so 3 first round picks.
This year's first round pick, right?
For their first
and that was Bo Callaway, the shiny quarterback,
right?
The Shedeur. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
So
Shedeur. We gonna call him Shedeur. Yeah.
So,
but I don't know, man. I can't make that because I don't know, man. Anyway, go ahead.
Let me tell you why Shedeur. Let me explain it to you, bro.
All right, man. Because the way I see the kid, it look like he snort coke and Bo Callaway.
Nah. He's just an all-American guy. Like he's an all-American guy. That's what he is, right?
Try not to mess it up. I feel you.
Yeah, like, and when you look at Shedeur has done. He's been, and his dad says this, right? Dion says this. Shedeur has been groomed. Right. For the spot he's in right now.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You have never heard Shedeur's name in any negativity in terms of any off the field, like fighting. Yeah. No girls. Right. Matter of fact, I ain't never even seen Shedeur with a female outside of his mama.
That's crazy work.
That's like in today's time where there's so much like cameras and like everything.
Yeah. We definitely heard about the Heisman and his girl. The Heisman winner. Heisman Trophy winner in his career.
Oh, right. Exactly, right.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
So and that's what I'm saying is like, there's all this. He's been Deion Sanders' son his whole life.
Right.
So he's been a spotlight on him his whole life. You ain't got nothing,
man. But
you got nothing on this man.
But okay, so to bring it back to the topic, like, look at the person Deion Sanders is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's a man of God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That plays a role into it. But that's so off the field, right?
Right.
My point is that there's nothing off the field questionable about it.
Right. That's true.
Now there's a lot of questions right now on the field, which a lot of this stuff happened because it happened on the field.
Yeah.
The flashing is right, like the Shedeur holding up the the wristwatch or whatever, right?
Right.
And the flashing is a lot of that is, people don't like, which I get. I think it's more of an old school thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the dude won at Jackson State.
Yeah.
Put up numbers at Jackson State. They said he couldn't do it at the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Went to D1 in the Big 12, which is not necessarily the hardest conference, but it's a Power 5 conference.
Right.
Right? Like it's a good conference.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, like they could have won more games. I think there's a lot of things, but if you look at his O-line, he ain't had nobody blocking for him either though.
That's only second year though.
Yeah, it's only second. Yeah, that's the thing too, right?
You see what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Well, he transferred over as a junior.
Yep.
Yeah, this man, come on, man. If that man was, come on, man. Anyway,
so, but they went. Well, I think they went. I don't remember their record, but it was like they won 4 games the year. They won 2 games the year before they got there.
Right.
They got there. They won like 4 games. And then last year I think they won like 9 games.
Yeah.
Right. Like so in 2 years they quadrupled their wins. Right. Essentially. Right. Like so it's like. And they have a winning culture as well. Yeah. They're creating a winning culture. So it's like, how do you tell this guy that he can't go in, play the clip?
If you ain't trying to change the franchise or the culture, don't give me. So you should know history repeats itself over and over and over. And I've done it over and over and over. So it should be no question why an NFL franchise should pick me. You think I'm worried about what critics say or what people got to say? You know who my dad is? They hated on him too. So it's like it's almost normal. Without people hating, it's not normal for us. So we like diversity. We like everything that comes with the name. That's why we are who we are.
Because how do you tell the guy that he can't go in? Like look this dude. Like I've done this, excuse me, this and this on different levels. Yeah. And you trying to tell me I can't go in and change the NFL franchise?
He's been consistent. Yeah.
Like that's the ultimate self-trust.
Right. But Bo Calloway was a little shaky though.
Bo Calloway was not shaky.
He was shaky.
He was not shaky.
With that linebacker, bro.
That's one player. That's one game.
He shook him up.
And
they took him out.
And there's a lot of different things that play a role into like.
You like Bo Calloway?
Bo Callahan. I'm just saying.
Callahan.
I'm just saying that it's debatable. Okay, so you say that, right? What happened at the end of the game?
He went 7.
Huh?
What you mean?
No, at the end of the game.
Oh, they won.
They won.
Yeah.
He threw like the last play.
Yeah, they
took. Bo Callahan is the truth.
They took
like
because bro was out of the game. Huh? The linebacker.
It don't matter. He won like the result, bro. Like the result, it don't matter.
He was shaky.
He's a winner. He's a winner.
That's why Sonny didn't draft him. He said he was shaky, bro. He got the linebacker instead. Anyway, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
But the point of it is that Shedeur is the safe pick, and I would like based on his track record. Yeah. How do you not take this guy first overall? I mean, outside of Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter's a beast.
But look who his mentor. Like you gotta look at his mentors too, bro. Like, come on, man. Yep. It's easy. That's easy money. Yep. You know.
That's my point.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the movie.
My bad. My bad. You can go there.
Back to the movie. So so Sonny, he sold 3 years of first round picks for the now first round pick, which was Bo Calloway.
Callahan, yep.
I think Calloway.
I got you.
All right. Because of the pressure his boss put on him.
Yes.
All right, cool. Now everybody excited.
Yep.
That was his boss excited.
Yep.
The coach, who you said is like his antagonist, not really excited. You know, because he need a what? Running back.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Yep. So like, and he's not like he's like, I don't like this deal either, right? Because you know he need a running back for his system,
right?
Because he got a quarterback. He don't like rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So anyway, but what happens? Well, I guess the big part next is like, all right, we got to figure out. I just traded our whole future for this dude.
Right.
Let's go do our research and figure out if he's as good as advertised.
Right.
And that's when we find out that
he's a little shaky.
He's a little after he gets contact. It's what, you know, how does he respond?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well,
he was shaky at the draft day. Man, go ahead. I'm getting ahead of himself. You know, his agent, probably his agent made him nervous.
Well, you shout out. You shout out. Here you go.
Go ahead, man. Nah, go ahead. Finish the story, bro. Go ahead.
You go. So they start to do some research on him, and they realize, okay, dang, you know what? He didn't have anybody at his birthday. There was an incident that happened,
right,
where the police were involved. They took a name down of everybody that was at the party, and they left out. And apparently there was no teammates that were listed on that list.
Right.
So essentially, you know, deductive reasoning, there was no teammates at the party. Right.
Yeah. See that I could have. See, if I was a producer, I'd spend a whole nother movie on that. Make it call it Bo Calloway draft day. Nobody was at the party because Bo Calloway took the blame.
What you mean? Oh,
see
yeah.
What I'm saying?
Yeah, it could. That's what I'm saying.
He was being a leader protector.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
ahead.
but you know, he calls the coach. He calls the GM, which is Kevin Costner's character, calls the Wisconsin coach or Bo Callahan's head coach in college.
Right.
He's like, tell me, like, what's going on with this dude? Like, why wasn't there any? He was like, you tell me, like, is it more plausible that nobody out of 85 players at his birthday party,
right,
or, you know, that people don't like him, like his own teammates don't like him? Like, which one is more? So it kind of answers the question without answering the question. It's still a lot of space, but that's why you have that's why we having this debate now about is Shedeur or Bo Callahan? Right, because you think Shedeur is better than Bo Callahan because you think Callahan got some issues.
Yeah.
But they never said he had issues.
That's true. I mean,
right?
It was
insinuated, but it was never confirmed.
Yeah, there was insinuations there.
So that's the point though, right? It's like,
so there's insinuations with Shedeur. They saying he's flashy because of what they seen. You know, him holding up his watch, but he's a good kid. Like, you can't you didn't hear nobody about no police coming to his parties or whatever. You know what I mean? I just You can tell, like, and I'm really, like, just really sitting on the foundation of you saying that Deion Sanders said he was groomed. You can just tell that he had been groomed. Like, he haven't had what am I trying to say? He haven't had any problems, or he really have the end in mind. He's really focused on where he want to go.
Yep.
And he's like he said, consistent.
Right.
That's somebody you want to draft. You know. Anyway, go ahead, man.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead. So okay. Let me just bring it. So he okay. So we understand what Sonny did, and you know the coach didn't want that, and now what? They doing some research.
They figure out, okay, so like now. And like, cause at this moment, bro, in the movie, Sonny really spiraling.
Yeah, he is.
Like, he's trying to find his footing in terms of being a good GM,
right?
Balancing the happiness of his team or his coaching staff, and balancing the happiness of his owner.
Why though? Why?
What you mean? Why?
Why is he spiraling? And I said this before I even saw the movie.
What's that?
There's some internal conflicting internal issues. I saw it too, because I saw him ask his girl. He was like, yo, like, what, you know? And you could just tell, like, yo, I wanted my own team. I want to build the team that I want. You know what I mean? You could tell that he have a solid foundation of who he want. Right. You know, he has a vision, but it's so much pressure, so much noise going on around him, pulling him back and, you know, there and here and there and whatever. And now he's battling with that. You know, that's why he's spiraling. Like, yo, everybody trying to tell me what to do. Even my mama. Like,
right.
We're not finna do this right now.
Right.
Anyway, yeah.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So essentially, bro. So fast forward, right? He drafts the defensive line, the defensive player.
Right.
First overall, owner is pissed.
Right.
Pissed.
Got on the plane.
Pissed because he's thinking that he's getting this greatest quarterback of recent history. You trade up, you give away all these first round picks for him, like,
right.
And you dropped the guy that you could have got,
right?
Anyway, like that don't make sense.
Yeah, because he's looking at the bottom line. That's all.
Right. So like now we ain't gonna be winning for however many years, right? And people are not coming because they pissed off at the draft and how we handle the draft. So like they don't support the team,
right?
So and he goes to his, I call it his happy place, which is his baby mama. He goes to the baby mama, right? And what did she tell him? I knew you had wrote it down.
Yeah. So
I thought that was a pivotal part in the movie.
So for one, and I want to get into the points too, like bring it back because we look like we run out of time here. I want to bring that what the note said. She said notes. Everything popping up on my phone with my notes. She said this. She said, number one, she said, sometimes the correct path is the tortured one.
Yeah.
You know. And then the other one, she said, it's your gift, Sonny. You see things that other people don't see. You know, I instantly think about Jesus when I know it, preacher.
Yeah, man. That's what you here to do, man.
Honestly, I always think about Jesus when I thought about Jesus when she said, you know, sometimes the correct path is the torture path. And he said, Jesus said, if anyone wishes to follow me, he must deny himself first and take up his cross. And if you think about it, cross is really your process, you know, to get to that next level. In Jesus' case, spiritual growth, you know, spiritual maturity, you know, all of that. But there is a cross that we have to bear. That cross is the process, and that process, it grinds us, you know, it crushes us to get us to that place. So I'm looking at him, man, and I'm just looking at like all the conflicts he's going through.
Yeah.
Like all of the voices, even on the radio, you can't turn the TV. That's a crazy place to be, bro. Like just imagine turning the TV on and you hear your name saying that you suck. You know, you turn on the radio, you hearing it. And this is in 2014, 15. Like now we got social media.
Yep.
You can't even turn your phone on without an article, you know, just saying, hey, you suck.
Right.
You know, just think about that and think about going through that, having to make an important decision. And just think about the decision that you need to make depends on if you're going to be true to yourself, the vision that God has given you, or what everybody else is saying. Just imagine what that feels like. And man, I've been there so many times, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like just going through the motion of who do I choose? And then what I'm realizing is if you don't trust self, first you have to be centered to trust self. If you don't trust self and you got all this noise going on within you, it's gonna be easy to sway with the crowd.
Yep.
You know, or whatever. But yeah,
and I just love how it ends, right? Like he has a conversation with his baby mama. She tells him, you know, that it's not over. Like it's you know, it's Bo Callahan starts to slip in the draft. Right. Probably is like Shedeur is gonna do. Watch it happen. But and he goes back in the war room and makes another deal. Right. And he gets the 6th round pick from the Jacksonville, and everybody's pissed off about that deal. But then he turns that deal and gets his number 1 picks back, right, from Seattle, which the original trade was for. So he ends up winning the draft by getting the linebacker he wanted, right, the player he wanted. He got the running back that his coach wanted, right, which is excellent, right, good value as well. because he was the second best player in the draft. He got him at number 7.
Right.
That's a good GM move. And he got a special teams player,
right,
a punt returner, a kick returner, whatever it was, in that deal as well. So now you have 3 people that can change, that can go in your franchise and make an immediate impact.
Right.
And you still have your first round pick for next year.
Right.
People are excited to come to games now because it's sold out, and they show it's sold out, all that stuff, right?
But all of this came about because he stayed true.
He stayed true to himself, 1,000%.
He stayed true to himself. So if we're saying anything here, you know, we're talking about a lot, man.
Yeah.
Concerning draft day, we're talking about Shedeur. Did I say his name right?
Yeah, Shedeur.
I thought about Drew Shedeur. I don't know why I became. Well, Shedeur Sanders. He's. I'm assuming. I don't know what goes on in his household, but I'm assuming he learned to stay true to himself through his father. You know, because Prime was an example.
Yep.
You know, and now that, you know, Prime is he's a godly man. And I said that's so Christian-y, like godly man. He's a godly man. He you know, he's a believer, and you can tell by what he talk about, you know, some of the principles he talk about, he imparted them in Shedeur. So you could tell even in this all of this noise, he said, "Hey, I'm consistent. I don't care what you say.
Yep.
If you don't want to change your franchise, you don't want me. You know, I'm consistent. This is my track record because I'm true to myself. I know what I've been through. I know what I can do, and that's the thing. When we go through like not revelation, when we go through trials, we are learning who we are. We're learning who we are in Christ. You know, when we go through these trials, and it's teaching us how to be true to the core foundation that He's given us. God has given us. You know, in these moments. So I just feel like, you know, if you are going through stuff, man, like trials, and you may be going in a different direction than everybody else. I know I've been through that, bro. I remember, anyway, working at a bank. And I was big on entrepreneurship, real estate. You know, I was doing Amway back then. And I was trying to tell, I was a teller trying to tell my colleagues about business. Y'all need to do this.
Yeah.
Get into business and whatever. Not my business, but I'm saying business, talking about taxes and all that. Man, I remember like 2 years ago. And now, remind you, this was more than 10 years ago. 2012. What is it? That was 13 years ago? Like 13?
2012, yeah.
13 years ago. One of my colleagues called me 2 years ago and was like, "Man, Ant, you was ahead of your time back then." Bro, I darn it. He was like, "You was ahead of your time now." And even one of my lead teller told me this like years ago too. Like, bro, I didn't listen. I made fun of you. You was talking about business. You know what I mean? Now everybody doing business, bro. It is a entrepreneurship. Is a thing now. You know, I don't even want to say
sexy now, man.
It's sexy. I don't even want to say I'm an entrepreneur because it's so sexy now. But we was doing this like 2010. You know, bro. I remember getting my first LLC back in 2008, doing home inspection. Now, why I wanted to do that? Because my daddy said do it, but I didn't want to do it. You know. But anyway, I got the certificate and everything, but I was always going against the grain. And the problem is that the people that I was around wasn't. So the noise got to me, you know what I mean? And the opposition and the opinions and thoughts. And I'm like, man, like maybe I am going the wrong direction, you know, because, you know, I'm down myself.
Right.
But the more I guess, meditate on that and realize that God had me going in a certain direction for a reason, the more that I can stand firm on His word and what He called me to do in entrepreneurship. And even to this day, throughout the noise, I can just keep moving forward. Yeah.
That's a normal thing, man. Like for you to feel doubted and because I mean, I think, you know, I definitely went through that same thing. Yeah. And, you know, I think it's just one of those things where, bro, when you are a visionary, when you do stay true to yourself, just people gonna be that way, bro. That's just there's no way around it. Like when you're doing something different and that's gonna be impactful in a positive way, like you gotta just go through that. That's essentially that's what Shedeur is going through. Right. He's going through like when's the last time there was a kid who had a blue chip prospect, right?
Right.
The blue chip prospect, his dad was, whatever, chip off the old block, right? Like, and he's the first player though that's cocky though. Or people call it arrogant or whatever, right? Like,
yeah,
he's the first of his kind.
Yeah.
You don't really see that a lot where the dad was such a superstar and then now the son is a superstar.
Right.
And the son is also not necessarily very humble about it.
Yeah.
Or quiet about it.
He ain't as bad as Dion was.
Nah.
Not cocky. Nah, he wasn't.
Nah.
Dion. No.
Dion. You're right. But Dion did it for the money, which essentially Shedeur knows he's gonna get the money.
Yeah.
Like he don't have to be as out there as is possible.
Yeah,
but he's still
NIL deals.
He still likes nice things. Yeah, he got all that stuff.
Yeah.
So the lyric of the day, lyric of the week. Comes from Rod Wave. He says he had his goals right in his face. He saw his dreams. He did the race. All it took was a bit of faith.
Just a bit.
And when you look at Sonny and draft day, like it all started again with the beginning with the end in mind, writing it down. Like, you know what? I'm drafting this guy no matter what.
Right.
He knew what his dream. He knew what he wanted to accomplish.
Well, the major thing he did was write it down.
Yeah, 1,000%.
And I think I mentioned this, but when you write something down, man, like it keeps you disciplined. Because you gotta face it. Well, when you keep it in front of you too, you can't just write it down and throw it away. It's just that don't make sense.
Right.
But you keep it in front of you. It keep you disciplined. It keep you consistent. And I had to get back to that, like just writing it down. That's why we got the journals. What am I doing? Write journals.
Yep.
I got my whiteboard in front of me, just with the goals and everything. Like it keeps you consistent. You know what I mean? Even throughout the noise, when you hear noise, it keeps you. All right, this is what I'm locked in on right here.
Yep.
And that creates hope.
Yep.
And the scripture says, where there's no hope, the heart grows sick, or the heart's deferred. Something like that. Where hope is deferred, the heart grows sick. Hope is our medicine, man. We got to keep that every day. Anyway, go ahead, bro.
Yeah. No, so that's pretty much it. It's just the bit of faith. Oh, it was a bit of faith. Oh yeah, and he stuck with he chose who he wanted to chose.
Yeah.
The draft, and then once he made the decision, he made it the right decision.
He felt good. Yeah.
He made all those deals that he needed to make to make everybody else happy around him.
Right.
But he made himself happy first.
See, that's bro, that's what it's about, man. Like when you make deals that'll make you feel good. Even like I'm gonna tell you something, even if I'm wrong, it's nothing worse than doing something that you didn't decide to do.
Right.
And it go wrong.
Yep.
That's the worst thing.
1,000%.
You know what I mean? You took somebody else's advice when you knew you should have did that.
Yep.
That's the worst feeling in the world. You can't get that back. At least if I do something wrong out of my own mistake, I can learn from it. Like, okay, cool, I can just tweak this or do this. You know, I can pivot. But you take somebody else's advice and you man, anyway, bro.
I thought about something, dog. I'm gonna do something that I didn't plan on doing.
Go ahead.
But I'm gonna tell you what I would do if I was a GM.
What you do?
All right. So this is what I would do. Let's say I'm the Tennessee Titans, because Tennessee Titans have the first overall pick.
Right.
What I would do is I'm drafting Travis Hunter first overall.
Okay.
Generational talent. I get a wide receiver out of that deal and a cornerback. Yeah. So I get like a two-part deal. Yeah. Now, obviously, I don't think I would play them
both ways
as much. But I probably start him at corner. Yeah. And then have him at receiver. Right. Maybe play 25 to 50% of the snaps. Right. Right. Third down plays maybe. Right. Yeah. This is what I'm also gonna do. I'm gonna watch the board. And I'm just gonna let it happen. I'm gonna let it play out. So if just pull up the draft order. I can look at that. Cleveland is number 2. Wow.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
If Cleveland doesn't pick Cam Ward, cool. If the Giants, because they just signed Russell Wilson and they signed Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, I don't think that's going to be the starters, but they'll probably get a quarterback too. But let's say they don't, right? Then you got New England. New England's not going to pick a quarterback,
right?
Because they got Drake May. They picked Drake May a couple years ago. They're not going to pick a quarterback. You got Jacksonville. Jacksonville's not going to pick a quarterback.
Okay.
Because you got Trevor Lawrence. They just paid him all that money. They're not going to pick a quarterback. Then you got Las Vegas.
Okay.
And if I am
the Titans,
mm-hmm. I'm going to make a deal with either Las Vegas
mm-hmm.
or the New York Jets,
mm-hmm.
and I'm going to trade away my second overall pick for this year,
mm-hmm.
maybe my first round pick for next year,
mm-hmm.
and I'm drafting Shedeur.
So they can play together? Makes sense.
It's worked the last 3 years. Why would it not work in
it worked in college?
You know, like I'm giving up a first rounder,
right?
My second rounder this year,
right?
And if I have to give away another first rounder the year after that, I'll do it.
It worked in college though,
so I get it. But I get and I think here's the thing though, right? If I'm Tennessee, I get my quarterback, I get a wide receiver
and a corner.
That's
like
crazy. That's what makes if I was an NFL team, that's what I would do.
We'll see what happens Thursday.
We'll see. All
right, man. Y'all be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell. Let's get this podcast out of here, man. What Am I Doing Right Journal's coming. It might be here, might not. I don't know. But we'll see. I think we out, bro. We out. All right. Peace.
Stick and move, we can get it done. Call it unity, it ain't no way around it. Cultivating, we get motivation from the big guy. We don't play about him. Going hard for the game, showing love.